And hello, everybody. Welcome back to AEL Rocket League. My name is Formal. Up above me, it is the Farfetched. You have to put a capital letter on that T. You really got to emphasize it, as we're here to bring you 3 more best-of-5 series. Still early days within this league, but do not fret. I think the action is only going to be heating up from here. Opening us off, it's going to be the UniSA Goats taking on the UMESA Love Letters. Then it's going to be the Western City Wyverns versus UON Blank. And then to follow up and finalize our evening, RMIT White taking on the UTS Juicer Squad.
Oh yeah, and there should be some interesting matches in amongst there. Some teams we haven't kind of heard as much about. Personally, I think that the Wyverns is probably the coolest name we've had so far.
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely going to change up my pronunciation at like 6 times. It's too hard to pronounce. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see a few teams we haven't quite seen before. There will be some names in there you have heard. But as a general rule, kind of getting a bit more of a taste of new talent coming into week 2 is what I want to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that, I think they're going to be the most interesting team on stream that we've seen, but I'm just looking at Group B, where our first match is, and I'm still seeing names like the University of New South Wales Meow, or UOW We Suck at Rocket League. I'm not going to touch that QUT team right now, but you get the idea. Like, there are some fun names throughout this, but coming into this one, it's going to be an interesting one. The UMESA Love Letters 1-1 at the moment. I think everyone was kind of given a win at the start, because if you take a look at the standing, everyone has more wins than losses. So UMESA at the moment, they're kind of sitting at a loss at the bottom of the table, not necessarily the start they were looking for, whereas the Goats, well, they're still undefeated.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it is still relatively early in the piece. The sort of weird thing about the format, we talk about it a lot, I know, is the fact that it's staggered games. You don't just play 1 game per week. It sort of fits in based on your schedule. Of course, uni students are very busy studying, 100%. They're definitely studying. Not just messing around to the campus, which is totally my university experience. But yeah, like they are quite busy, so there is kind of this very staggered schedule, and so you get some kind of interesting results there. That was kind of a side note. But yeah, undefeated so far coming into the season. That run usually ends. I think even some of our best teams will struggle to get a full-on, like, undefeated full season. So we are kind of waiting to see who will dethrone them. But yeah, it should be interesting to see how they kind of keep going so far. Coming into week 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Will be exciting to see how things play out. But before we do get into the action of our opening match, I think it's high time we thank some of our sponsors for this event.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I just dropped the sponsor page just because I was trying to log into the game, so I'm running behind. But we are here. Our first sponsor is, of course, Predator. Conquer new worlds with Predator Gaming today. Predator are the gaming PC partner of the AEL. Conquer new worlds with Predator Gaming. Predator puts power and precision in your hands. Elevate your gaming experience in every way with quality and performance, thanks to Predator. Secondly, of course, AOC, the best viewing experience. AOC is a global leader in monitor display technology. For more than 50 years, AOC has delivered an exceptional viewing experience to millions of loyal customers worldwide. Today, the company offers a wide selection of stylish monitors for home, office, or gaming. Super fast refresh rates, crystal clear displays, you've heard it before. Really, really lovely monitors, of course. As I always say, if you come to an AEL live event, you'll get to see them firsthand and experience the joy of looking at an AOC monitor. And last, but most certainly not least, is Rig, what it takes to win. Rig develops headsets delivering superior audio quality for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. Join the Rig team and enhance your gaming experience. I've got a small personal anecdote. I have some inferior headphones right here sitting next to me, which I'm not going to mention the brand name of. They broke, and I'm sitting here like, damn, if I had a rigged headset, maybe that wouldn't happen. It's all the what ifs. So
true. Yeah, you got
that's my personal insight.
That's some good insight, that durability. I mean, I guess at the moment you can say you don't have what it takes to win. That said, I'm sure you may have gotten a little glimpse at it. The word has been given for the players to go, kind of expecting them to jump on that pitch at any given moment. We're going to kind of see them get into that action, actually, from the commentator's booth right now. Just to give it a little thing. This is what it looks like from our perspective, right, Fetch, when we're watching up here in the booth. And trust me, we cast the entire game on this camera. You have to take my word for it.
Mm-hmm. It makes for a really interesting situation, and that's why whenever we miss a play or something, you can't blame us. That's the main thing. Everyone kind of sits there and is like, "Wow, that'd be really weird." On directed cam, you'd totally be able to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's unfortunate, but it does make it more cinematic.
But when you're able to watch from the booth, well, it means a lot. Players jumping onto the field, as you can see. So too shall we. UniSA is going to be on that blue side. UMESA will be in orange, and we are underway. Opening kickoff. Looking pretty good at the moment. Berserk's going to find an opening shot. Not quite able to put it in real quick through the lineups. On the UDSA side, you have Your Pet Fish, Is Nugs, as well as Ed Sheeran fan. For the side of UMESA, it is OY, Berserk, as well as Nyfoxel.
Did we have an Ed Sheeran in the league somewhere? Like, just someone who called themselves Ed Sheeran? Yeah, maybe it was like Michael Bublé or someone else in that kind of, pop, like pretty boy pop style. But like, yeah, that would be an interesting rivalry to see. But at the moment, yeah. I've caught a glimpse of I don't know if you saw it, Dakar, which was just on autocam there. It was very, very nice. But right at the moment, Berserk going for a big shot off the top. It's going to fall down. A second shot off the crossbar, and OY isn't going to be able to get the connection. They are able to make the rotation back, which is the important thing. Not going to give that one up, but in fact, it's actually just slammed in by Ed Sheeran fan 2010.
You know, out of all the cars that we're talking about, I'm surprised Berserk isn't the first one you went to. Maybe it's because they kind of just got dunked on right there. Ed Sheeran fan winning that 1v1 puts the first goal through, and it's UniSA striking first blood.
It's the whole orange side. I'm realizing it immediately. Berserk's got the Merc, which, brilliant rhyming scheme there. Nyfoxel has the just color, has the laryness, and then we've kind of got the like sparkly hat you see in those really cheesy kids, like high school performances for OY, and that's really his synergy. But a great goal coming out of Nyfoxel. Good setup from Berserk, and these teams seem pretty comfortable setting up these sort of structured passing attacks.
Yeah, that was just a really good play from Nyfoxel. I don't really know how they were able to find that gap right there. Level of play, definitely very elevated already. I don't know, maybe it's because I was casting from a high school league earlier today, and I'm not going to go into details which one, but the level of play wasn't quite up to this standard, so just getting back used to the tempo again. Shouldn't be too surprised. Each and every year I feel like we have the AEL University League. The level of play gets better and better as Berserk just goes ahead and dribbles that right into the net.
Yeah, it's interesting how the sort of goals we've gone have been so far. Like, we saw one which off a breakaway, really good, like using Berserk as the backboard in that play. Then we saw the really nice passing play and another breakaway play. So this has got to be the great passing setup, right? That's got to keep the pattern going. But it is interesting how well, yeah, potentially. I believed it for a second. But it is interesting how, UMESA have been able to break that sort of defensive line quite well a couple of times in a row. And UMESA looked really composed in that first goal, but it kind of fell apart a little bit as they went. And maybe it's just that inconsistent defensive line, which I'm starting to see a little bit of, but I want to see more of before I make too many comments on.
Yeah, we'll see how we go at the moment. It does kind of come across that our, UniSA side on defense, they play very far back, and they're just giving a lot of space over to their opponents when they're on the attack. I can't be too critical of it, though, because usually they are coming through with those saves, and they're also very fast on pulling back when the counterattack does happen. So it's not as if I feel like UniSA is necessarily playing poorly on defense. I just kind of feel like Melbourne at the moment have had one or two more opportunities that they've been able to capitalize on. I think you can specifically say one because of the 1 goal difference. Still a very interesting game thus far, and now that we're past kind of that opening flurry of goals and the teams are settling down, I have to admit, I'm kind of liking the blue side a little bit more. At least I did until they left the net open. I don't know how Nyfoxel doesn't get that goal.
Yeah, I'd say they got just a little bit further away from them. Maybe wasn't quite ready to have that opportunity there. Off the backboard again. And here it is with the Love Letters. Sorry, I really like that name. The Love Letters finding themselves that passing setup of that sort of pass backboard play, which did manage to get them another goal earlier. And even when they didn't get a goal in that first sequence of play, it looked really, really strong. The fact they were able to keep it up and keep sort of pushing the defense around a little bit.
Yeah, the Love Letters are going to be very happy with that goal right there as we go back and forth to kick off our next point. Pressure on the Goats right now if they're going to get back into this one. They're going to need to, I think, find a relatively quick answer to the play. Nyfoxel gets past one defender. OY bangs it to the corner. Berserk looks to collect on the pass, instead threw it back down, but couldn't quite find the teammate in OY.
Yeah, and the Nyfoxel sort of had that possibility to possibly push that one further forward. I might have actually liked to see them keep that aggression up. Actually, OY is keeping that aggression forward, is holding forward in that aggressive position. There's about 6 ways you can say that. But the fact that they aren't letting up after the ball clears, they're getting the rotation back, they're pulling back into defense, but they're not completely giving up the attacking pressure, which is really, really important.
Ooh.
And Berserk almost gets when it comes with the crossbar and does manage to get past the defenders for a little bit. They just didn't have the accuracy.
OY gets a nice pinch off that wall right now. Follow up from Nyfoxel, doesn't quite hit. Snugs goes for the challenge, but OY wins it out. Still a fair bit of time left in this game, but if that answer is going to come, it's going to have to come now. And if Foxel going to try to put it off the wall, caught by his Snugs instead. Still a minute to go on the clock, and at the moment it looks like enough is being done in terms of tempo and ball control by the Love Letters to take this opening game.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, I did like some of your points about the blue team having some strengths, but it just seems like when the attack does come through for the Love Letters, they are just able to sting that one in really, really consistent, or at least consistently enough. And even when they don't, the attacking pressure just feels too good for me right at the moment. But, you know, again, it's only game one. It's full series.
Oh!
And, oh my God, Berserk! That double touch was beautiful.
The entire setup for it as well. Nefoxel plays off the backboard. Berserk is there playing it off the post instead. Again, don't understand how they're able to get that one through the defense, but absolutely succeeds in doing so. 4-1 lead to put game one under lock and key.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a matter of sort of how their opponents, the UniSA Goats, can actually, you know, kind of find an answer for some of these attacking plays. It doesn't seem like, again, I kind of like your points. They do seem like they've got some good strengths and good things going for them, but they just need to tighten up the defense. They need to figure out exactly what they're doing there. And it might just be a matter of sort of taking a second to stop being overwhelmed. That was a great fake there, and I think Nefoxel just sort of flicks it in from the ground. But you know, look at the setup here. I don't remember who goes up for it, but they just let it sit, and it baits out one of the defenders and lets Nefoxel go for the second touch to put it straight in. It's
funny too, because Nefoxel was the one who kind of set it up for themselves. So it's just kind of able to follow through. I kind of like plays like that. Love Letters, very dominant game one performance, and now a little bit interesting on that back end. The defense not really rushing to that kickoff right now. I think that's kind of the Goats' way of conceding this first game. OY is going to put another one through. 3 seconds remaining, and this is just turning into a little bit of a massacre.
It is a little bit, but it does feel like it was kind of, as you said, like conceding the game a bit. It's like, well, all right, whatever. We lost this one. Rough game. It's fine. We'll get them next time. You know, regroup after this. And I think they're going to waste any more emotional energy on trying to keep this game close. The scoreline maybe blew out a little bit more towards the end there than it may have deserved. But that said, totally deserved win for the Love Letters.
Yeah.
They did a fantastic job of setting that one up, but pulling that victory out.
Love Letters definitely dominated that opening game, so they're going to come out on top with the game one win. Be curious to see how we're going to see, you know, the response coming from the Goats in this one, as I have awarded the win to the wrong side. Let me just fix that up real quick. Whoopsie-doopsie. There we go. Mesa, the one with that win. Look, I find it interesting. At the start of the evening, you know, I was on Twitter and I caught OY kind of calling their shots that they and Berserk were going to take this game over, and so far that seems to be coming true.
Yeah, I mean, 2 goals apiece. Don't let that, like, pardon me. Don't let that stat go away, because, like, a stat be overlooked, I should say, sorry. Because that's good. That shows the entire team is, you know, stepping up and playing. 7 shots on for Berserk, I think it was, which is, like, really impressive. Like, they really clearly were kind of the staple of that attacking line. A lot of those did go up from the backboard and set up plays for their teammates. But it does feel like there really isn't a weak point for this Love Letters side. It just seems like they are able to dominate through all 3 of their players, which is kind of a terrifying prospect at this level.
Yeah, we'll see if that sort of domination will continue right now. UniSA on the back foot. The Love Letters off to a strong start. Kickoff nearly did go in, though, so you got to be a little bit careful. Air Sheeran fan almost finds that gap as well. OY will be the one who clears it around the corner.
Yeah, and I mean, the Goats just need to find some stability, something the Goats are known for. So it shouldn't be too hard for them, you know. They're looking pretty good at the moment. Being able to control the ball does force 2 defenders to have to be able to not quite double commit to that play, but be positioning for it. Berserk comes in for that aggressive touch, but they just aren't able to put it in quite the right position. Ed Sheeran fan wants to run this one down. Gets a bit of a breakaway. Possibly had to use a bit more of the space coming through from their teammate, but wasn't able to. Your Pet Fish has a 1v2 to contest and just doesn't call it right. Berserk gets a goal straight from the other side of the field.
That almost looked like it was going to be a fast to Foxel, but I mean, recognizing that one was going to go in, does the smart thing, doesn't make contact with it, and Berserk gets the long distance snipe. 1-0 lead as the Love Letters continue right where they left off.
Yeah, and I mean, Berserk, you know, has another opportunity here. It feels like they're so consistently getting the ball off the kickoff. That great pass, that was so good from both players. The 1-2 hit was just fantastic.
Oh, how do you defend against this right now if you're UniSA? A beautiful pass, and the placement of that touch, perfection from the Love Letters. They now have the 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and it's like the classic. It's the classic sort of sports goal where you threaten the goal from multiple angles. You have the person playing the post. In this case, it was not quite on the post, but get the potential for a redirection into the goal. It just, like you say, it's so hard to defend against. Here's a great little waterfall down, but a save from Berserk. I mean, they've done enough work to for us to be able to criticize them for that one mistake. But that was unfortunate. I think Berserk would have liked that goal.
Yeah, I think that would have been a sick one to grab. As it stands, though, still finding 2 goals in the first minute and a half. Could be finding a third right here as OY makes the defense look silly till Ed Sheeran fan is able to collect it on that goal line. We just haven't seen UniSA create chances. And yes, although I did give them credit before when they were playing that super far back defense, that's when they were winning their challenges. But since then, it's kind of gone quite awry for the team in blue. Unfortunately, they just haven't been able to get any sort of defensive pressure established. All their touches are as desperate as they come, so there's no power behind them. There's no threat for the counterattack as you see passes right above that goal line. UMESA, the love letters, they just are a cut above at this stage.
Yeah, I would actually like to see the side of UniSA using positioning a bit more. That goal was just flicked in from OY. There probably should have been saved, but nonetheless, a good goal. Nice little setup from Berserk as well, actually. That's a very cute little touch. But I think this is the thing. It sort of looks like UniSA, because they got so hard in the back foot, because they're so scared of the pressure which is being applied from the love letters, it kind of seems to me that they're too scared to touch the ball. Like, they're scared to go aggressive and contest these shots, which means that their opponents. Oh, that was a really nice little ground pinch.
We see players go for the ground pitch all the time, and rarely do we see it work. But that one, I mean, it wasn't quite the pinch I think that Berserk was looking for, but it was still a powerful strike, 105 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, really, really nice stuff, and especially from the team who's been. And, we always say, the more you go for aggressive and like sort of high skill plays, the more likely you are to get them. But it feels like the hit rate for this team is actually just good in general. It's not just that they're going for a lot of these high skill plays. It's the fact they're executing on them. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's been exciting to watch for sure. A bit unfortunate if you're a fan of UniSA right now, just because realistically, I'm feeling like we are falling down to that stereotypical experience difference in this matchup right now, where a lot of the love letters attack is coming a bit too quick and far too dynamic for the UniSA defense to really recognize what's going on. The best way to combat this, I feel like, is getting more proactive on the other side of the pitch and trying to run disruption before they allow themselves to set up. But because the love letters are able to essentially set up these plays from anywhere on the pitch, kind of picking that spot where to make your stand is that much more difficult. And it's really a tough ask right now for UniSA to come back in this one.
Yeah, 100%. And like I say, it's kind of, I was explaining as being like scared of the ball, and it's sort of scared of what happens if the ball goes past you. But it's going to keep happening if you give your opponent space. And this was a very nice goal from OY. Wasn't quite a ground pinch for themselves. I don't know if that was necessarily what was going through their mind, but it still was very nice nonetheless, bouncing that one in. But yeah, no, if you're scared of the ball, it's just going to keep going past you. It's the philosophy of it. And there's still a game to go after this one, even if we call this game sealed now, which it's technically not. There is still another game to go where they can try and reset their mental and things like that. But if this is kind of the play we're seeing from UniSA, like, look at this. Look at this shot right now. 3 players back for UniSA, and the attack, the love letters just had all the time in the world to set that play up.
Yeah, and Berserk decided to go for like a crazy double touch at the end right there, something that they realistically probably did need to do if they wanted that goal, but the confidence is there on the love letter side that they could get away with whatever. I mean, there was no reason for Berserk to go for a squishy save, went for it anyways, gave up the point. Look, Fetch, we've seen situations in the past where teams' hubris has come back to bite them. That could be a way back in as well.
Yeah, and if it's a confidence game, if the battle right now is just a matter of confidence, then yeah, absolutely it could bite them in the butt. If you give UniSA a moment to be like, wait guys, we can win this, I think that the game looks a lot closer, even just from that difference, not even like skill there for that point. Although, love letters are pretty good. I think it's a fair statement to make.
Never forget Griffith with 2 RLCS players losing in a 3v2 where they were the team with 3. That's all I'm going to say, as we still have about a minute remaining in this one. It is looking like still going to be going the love letters way right now, but you never know what could happen in these final seconds. Well, I do know that the love letters are going to win, but maybe we get an exciting goal or two.
Yeah. I think that's it. We might even get an exciting goal from UniSA. That's what I'm keen for. I want to see UniSA do something really, really stylish. It's a way of kind of pulling themselves a little bit back into this game. But yeah, no, it's not going to be enough to actually win it. So it's going to all come down to that whole game 3. Like, can you be the reset? Can you? And like, we actually saw this, I think, last week, where there was a team who got absolutely demolished in the first 2 games, and then like it looked like they were going to make the comeback. I think they just fell short. They took 1 game back and they fell short in the 4th, from memory. And that's a thing. That is totally a thing which can happen. You know, you write off a team in the first 2 games and they come back in the 3rd. I don't know if UniSA have the confidence to do that, but you know, it's worth giving them at least a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
I'm glad you're here to be, you know, Professor Optimism. Wait, what's a good title that starts with O so I can get a proper alliteration in there?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Do you want to be the orthodontist of optimism?
Let's do it. I'm keen for that.
Retaining that hope for the teams in need.
Yeah, I don't actually know exactly what I know generally what an orthodontist specializes in, but I don't like. I wouldn't tell you like the limits of their professional field, but I can pretend, and that's just as important. Right?
I mean, they're the ones who give you your braces and the likes. And connection lost, no reservation found.
I love it. You love to see it.
Should just be able to join right back in. Unable to find server. Did the server die for you as well?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're just gonna cut right back to us real quick while I remake that server. I'm assuming it may have gone down for everyone. Hello again. Don't mind me if you see me pitter-pattering away. That's just me remaking the server.
It's alright. I can talk to the audience. I can talk to our wonderful audience. I can look straight down the camera. I can get nice and close if I want, and I can be like, "Hey, audience, how are you doing?" Right at the moment, the state of the game is 2-1, 2-0 actually in terms of game score overall. Really, it's the Love Letters kind of running over the UniSA Goats, and I gave that tiny little spark of hope. I said, hey, UniSA, maybe they come back into it. Maybe there's a chance that they pull some weird game 3 stuff back out. Maybe they were absolutely tanking these first 2 games. Maybe the hubris of UMESA is actually going to bite them in the butt. Only time will tell, and specifically this next game. And yes, we're trying to, get everyone back in the lobby and everything, and that will take a second. But I genuinely believe. I think that UniSA, there was a chance, there was a sliver of hope, there was a dream. If I had better improv skills, I'd make the best esports monologue you've ever heard right now.
This is gonna be a little bit of a story. I remember one time back when I used to stream, and I really should get back into streaming. I had like some, who was it? It was Maybe She Will, if you know that group or band at all.
I was thinking of like Twitch streaming. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Maybe She Will. I had that playing, and it was like some 6-minute emotional song, and I just went on like some crazy monologue that made no sense whatsoever, and it was beautiful.
That's good.
It was magical.
It's really, really good.
What a lame story.
No, you need stuff like that in your streams. I was thinking the classic the classic. Well, what's actually becoming like a staple of esports now? The cold open, it starts with champions or whatever the meme is, and it's just goes on.
Oh, like that crappy Coca-Cola ad?
I was thinking that crappy one which happened before the finals 2 years ago, 2020, I think it was. That was one of those. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that one. That was we filmed and edited that in 40 minutes or something.
Oh, jeez.
That was a mess.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. Yeah. Where you're at the field.
Yeah, I was at the field, and everyone was just
yes!
why are you at a soccer field?
I love that. You know what? I love the cheesy stuff like that. That great. Again, that's from me as well. I know you're not the biggest F1 viewer, but if you ever watch a race, every single race starts off with the most dramatic, tense music as the play-by-play caster goes on this 2 to 5 minute monologue about the track and the stakes and everything, and it's so good. I love that stuff. But yeah, no, that's way better than the cringy Coca-Cola ad that had all of the they played that amalgamation of all the games, and then they all stopped playing the game because the characters started drinking Coca-Cola, and then there was world peace. It was a weird.
Oh my god!
It was a weird commercial. Hey, look! By the way, game has started. We're 1 minute in, and no opening goals for the Love Letter side. This is the longest they've gone without finding a point, I feel.
I don't know if you've noticed, but UniSA have had the attacking pressure consistently. They've had some passes, they've had some backboard attempts, they've had some decent shots. Berserk's on the play right at the moment. Can't quite put that ball in front of goal. It's actually going to be a bit of a team bump on the attack for the Love Letters. But UniSA definitely look like a team unbound right here. I'm playing a little Hooper. What can I say? Yeah, it looked like a team unbound right here as they are just piling attack on attack, not being afraid, contesting some of these plays. And even when
Rule one!
Rule one! This game 3 is the best game 3 we've seen all season.
Yeah, this is why we had to get back in this lobby. That's actually Halsey with a chance. Halsey, by the way, is sub, who I think has come in, was not in our past games. Wasn't able to find that breakaway. OY will put it through. And despite the Rule 1, UniSA still cannot convert, and it's a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, you know, I really thought that might have been an awesome save into a big counterattack, but it's fine. You know, I was kind of also hoping we'd get a bit more twos action, but again, it's fine. I don't need to get everything I want. That was a really good kickoff attempt there. Berserk was able to pretty comfortably get to it, but again, I think it's like, it sort of shows what I was talking about with the fact that UniSA, they're getting more aggressive. The Goats really trying to put the pressure on their opponents. And I like that. I really like the fact they're trying to push this ball up the field, not giving them as much room to breathe. Of course, you still end up with that 1 goal deficit, but you know, and I think maybe they might need to put a bit more of an emphasis on their defensive rotations. Ooh, that's a dangerous position for ball. But the point is, I like what UniSA is doing this game.
So do I, as we're going to see a bit of a shot right now. Berserk will corral it from behind, now looking to stay with that ball. Berserk from that side wall actually has a fair bit of space to go for. It's off the post and not quite in. Berserk isn't going to convert on that one. Look, I've been really impressed with this third game, and I wonder if that's the difference of the sub. Halsey coming in, allowing the team to be more aggressive, but even the other members who have played that past game, Ed Sheeran, I feel like has played more of this game on the orange side of the pitch than the blue side, and that's exactly what UniSA needed. I'm a little bit worried, though. It could be too little too late.
Well, it might be a bit of a cliche at this point, but I really think that was a nice little redirect from Foxhole there. The sort of pre-jump defense was nice as well. The attempt was sort of made, but yeah, the attacking pressure from Lovelet is still unrelenting. Like, just because UniSA is stepping up doesn't mean their opponent's letting up themselves. But yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think that it's really important. The one voice basically just telling you, hey nerd, you need to contest the play a bit more, is so valuable, and I really like. I hope that maybe Halsey is that voice, because UniSA are definitely playing like a different team.
They are. They're playing so much more aggressive, and you can see that it's Halsey who is the one who is forward at the moment, throwing it back, but where's the rest of the team? And now is not the time when you need to fall back because you had been looking so good. That pass was in the right spot as well. No one there to convert it. 100 seconds left, and it is still the Love Letters with the 2-point lead.
Damn, quick maths. I like it. I respect it. Yeah, I mean, UniSA, though, again, they're on the attack there. Really good defense. I think this is something else which we didn't get to see much because UniSA weren't attacking as much, but UMESA have had a really, really solid ability to kind of defend the play. We didn't see them pressured much on defense. I think you could argue they've had a couple of slip-ups awkwardly, but it hasn't really cost them a goal yet. And I think especially Berserk being in pretty much every position they need to be in, this could be a really good attempt. The ball's going to go a little bit high, and of course the players, you know, Ed Sheeran fans can try to pick it up, reset the attack a little bit, but it's just not, I don't know, I don't think this play is going to come to too much more, again, because of how tight the defense of Mesa actually is.
And with only 1 minute remaining in this game, time is running low. Berserk swings and misses. Halsey, though, couldn't quite get contact as well. Ball nearly finds its way into the net, but not quite there. Shot coming from OY will be saved by Snugs, but more importantly, time still tick-tocking down, and still no response from UniSA. Nothing to match the 2 goals from the Love Letters, and as the ball rolls back to the blue side of the pitch, Berserk's going to turn this into a shot off the backboard underneath. And Foxhole could have put it on target, instead throws it to the corner.
And they can play keepings off if they really want to here. Of course they don't want to. Love Letter is so like hungry for that extra goal, that 3-0 scoreline at least. But they are able to make these high passes which just aren't being contested by UniSA. Snugs might have an opportunity here. The ball is going to bounce off very gently. Good patience and discipline from OY.
And that is going to be enough to secure this one away. A clean sweep for the Love Letters. UMESA will get the win. They'll remain undefeated, and for UniSA, it's back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and honestly, they look good. You know, you can't say that UMESA don't deserve that. Love Letters looked fantastic in that play. I think that it is always interesting to kind of think where they might stand in the grand scheme of all the teams we have. It felt like they didn't have the same like kind of mechanical skill or even those quick fire passing plays which some of the top teams have. But maybe if they're tested, maybe if they're pushed a little bit, if they're put into that underdog position, they might be able to contest some of those top teams. So I think they're going to be the team I'm most excited to see later on in the series, where they do start playing against some of our really dominant players and teams and things.
I think they are going to definitely be an exciting one to track, but so too are some of the teams in our next matchup. Now we're going to be throwing it to a break, but when we come back, we're going to be heading to Group E for our second and third game of the evening. It's going to be Western Sydney taking on UON when we return. Welcome back, everybody. It's time for our second game of the afternoon. Western Sydney Wyverns taking on UON Blank. Two teams already off to a rough start on the season. They came away with the L last week. Maybe this will be the time they turn it around.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting match. We haven't, again, two of the teams we haven't seen much of. I'm kind of looking at the names in the lobby, and maybe I've seen one or two of them before, but I couldn't give you a nuanced sort of account of exactly how they play, how good they are. So it'll be a sort of testing ground, a bit of a testing ground, I should say, a bit of a sort of learning experience, I guess, for all of us on the broadcast. And neither of these teams right at the moment are threatening that top spot. They haven't really sort of picked up a huge number of wins. Again, scattered bracket, things like that. Different teams play at different times. But I kind of want to see how these teams settle, probably more likely into the middle of the pack. But honestly, I'm more than happy to believe that, they're going to be, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong and see some of the best Rocket League I've seen all year, if it does happen.
Yes, so will I. Now the word has been given. Players are jumping onto the pitch. So too shall we. Starting up from the Concords. Let's get into it. Players on the field. Here we go. Kicking us off on the blue side, it is the Western City Wyverns consisting of Phoenix, Fitzino, as well as Inexplicable Mortal. Meanwhile, for the side of Blank, you have Descenthrol, as well as Carvey and Daniru Jones.
Yeah, intense aiming schemes I think we've got so far, but no one really kind of having too much control on the ball just at the moment. The breakout, of course, being the best car in the game, did manage to get a bit of attacking pressure going. Thrall did whiff that one on defense, but it's okay because Carvey did have their back. Attack sort of being established a little bit, of course, by the Wyverns, but they're not, they're not really making too much more ground than kind of holding possession at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a feeling out process, I feel like, from both sides. A couple unforced errors, as we see right there. A little bit of goalkeeping, passive play defensively coming from the Wyverns on their side. And I imagine as the tempo of this game does pick up, we'll start to sort of see a bit more risk-taking. But to start of the game, not too surprised to see some space given. Phoenix, though, I liked that challenge. Unfortunately, didn't go the way of Western Sydney.
Yeah, and a really good potential counterattack here. The ball put a little bit high and a little bit wide, but Daniru Jones managed to keep it kind of on target, but it wasn't nearly fast enough for too much more to happen. Carvey just gets immediately demoed trying to keep that attack alive for a little bit longer. So it's defensive rotation time right now for our blue team, but, there's still potential for an attack coming through if they can get a good clearance here.
We'll see if they're going to be able to find a ball cleared across that middle of the field where Descenthrol tried to collect it. Inexplicable Mortal, though, was able to push it forward, and this might lead to something. Fitzino actually gets cut off, was going for that corner, but Carvey got there first. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to see UON on the attack just yet. Western Sydney going to continue to try to play through that corner. Defense, though, is strong on that part of the pitch. Carvey will find the clear once again as we're playing a little bit of corner ball Rocket League.
Yeah, and the orange car is going to bait me so hard this game. The fact that with the blue, we have a blue side orange car, hate that. I wish there was like a tournament mode where you could just disable like custom colors, but whatever. I know the players would get mad, whatever.
Oh, there are ways to do it with Bacchus mod, but I just don't know how.
Yeah, it's fine. Not a big deal. Right at the moment, though, what is a big deal is Western Sydney setting up this attack. Again, they haven't been able to sort of go for that killing blow and finishing off the attack, but they are holding possession well. Phoenix goes up for a 50, wins it pretty convincingly. It comes off the crossbar, and Inexplicable Mortal wasn't able to put it away, and now it's going to be a counter-attack coming in for UON.
Yeah, so we watched Carvey try to get some pressure through that corner. Can't go too far with it. Ball still being held up in the corner. Challenge in front of the net, where no one will come down with the ball just yet. Phoenix looking to play something through that corner. Swings and misses. Let's see what Fitzino will be able to do. Pass back down to Inexplicable Mortal, and that's going to be the goal. 1-0 lead in favor of the Wyverns.
And it wasn't a big booming attack. It was just sort of moving the ball between the three players and finding eventually that angle for Inexplicable Mortal to just flick it in. And it was, to be fair, it was pretty fast. 88 kilometers an hour is not a slow shot, but it did come more from the movement around the field rather than just like one big powerful attack. And it's going to be a kickoff goal almost. The demo came in a little bit too late, though. Actually, the demo went the other way, I think.
Yeah, that was a little bit interesting, a little bit spicy, but still close nonetheless as we pass that 2-minute mark. Fitzino isn't really able to chase that one all the way back. We'll leave it for the rest of the team. Phoenix actually didn't really make contact with it either. That was just the ball's momentum kind of rolling on through, but because of unfortunate misplay on offense initially, it's going to have to roll back to the midfield. And it's again an unforced error disguised as a pass, or rather a pass disguised as an unforced error. I think that makes more sense. Either way, it led to a shot. Unfortunately, not on target for UON.
Yeah, and you know it's a problem because if they're not able to find these goals, that 1-goal deficit is just going to sit there and haunt them for a little bit longer. They have to kind of find an attack, and before that, they have to find continued possession, I should say. They've had attacking plays, but it hasn't lasted very long for them. 2 players take themselves out in defense, and it's going to make things make at least a counterattack really awkward. Phoenix just spears it in though.
And you kind of saw that one coming when you watched the defense right here. On the backboard setup, no one goes up to challenge it, and 2 cars are facing backwards. The 2 who are closest to the play. They were still rotating back, so Phoenix was going to be able to get there first, and that's what leads to the 2-0 lead.
Kind of came from the miscommunication from that team bump. I'm gonna blame it from that. And see, you know, we'll give them the doubt on that. We'll give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt on that one. They just had that awkward 1 team bump. Disenthralled though is going to try and get some sort of play on here. They are able to tie up the defense for at least a little bit, but their mates get jammered as De Niro tried to go for a play. They're gonna have to pull back the rotations a little bit, hold this attack for just a second, but do manage to keep control of the ball instead. It's gonna be a high angle attempt coming in from Carvey, but Pizzino does just spoil it well enough for Inexplicable Mortal to have another attempt on their own attack.
Now we'll see what we're going to be able to get through that corner right now. Phoenix going to look for a challenge underneath. Swings and misses. Disenthrall will be able to clear that one instead through the box. Now Carvey actually puts one up. De Niro Jones goes for the challenge, but is actually one out by Canarvi as well. Ball slowly bouncing towards the net, and an awkward back pass might open the door. Disenthrall takes the shot, but Inexplicable Mortal is there. 10 seconds remaining. That's probably going to ice this game. It's going to go in favor, I believe, of the Wyverns. In fact, I can guarantee it 1-0 for the blue side.
Yeah, and it's a very different pace this series has. You know, it's almost a bit more of the classic, like, kind of taking turns to attack. You get a bit of aggression, we get a bit of aggression. You get a bit of aggression, we get a bit of aggression. The difference maker in a game like that is who has the ability to hold their possession after attack longer. And that's just been Western Sydney Wyverns consistently. Also, because everyone disagrees about, I know everyone disagrees about the pronunciation of this word, but I feel like we're going to get so much flack for pronouncing Wyvern wrong. Like, you are no matter what you do.
Wyvern?
But I'm just thinking about it. Okay, so I think it's Wyvern, right? Mm-hmm. Because the thing which dragons originally came from was like Western dragons was a Welsh dragon called the Worm, spelled W-Y-R-M. So surely a Wyvern is an evolution of that. But also everyone hates me for saying that. So, you know.
One second. I'm solving this. I'm trying to solve this right now. Just give me one moment.
Please give us the canonical, accurate explanation for a fictional creature. Pronunciation,
I'm just going to wait 1 second. I just need to... Wait, that's not working. Ugh. Here we go.
Wyvern. Wyvern.
The American pronunciation is Wyvern. All right?
Wyvern.
I think that's how most people pronounce it.
I'm playing it over stream right now. I don't think you can hear it, but like no. I've gone through and I've gone like Wyvern pronunciation on Google, and I have the Google voice speaking, and it's saying Wyvern over and over again.
Wyvern.
I think that's how most people pronounce
Wyvern.
it. I think that Wyvern's how most people pronounce it, but it should be Wyvern. I'm gonna. Wyvern. This is a hill I will die on. Probably to Wyvern.
Well, the British pronunciation is Wyvern.
Yeah, but okay.
Wyvern.
That's not even the part we're concerned about. You know, it's just like, okay, whatever. How do you pronounce your E's? That said, Phoenix opening up the scoring for the Western Sydney team. There we go, got him. Pretty quickly, and that's, you know, it's gonna be them straight on the aggressive foot once again.
All I'm saying is you can pronounce it how you like, but if you disagree with Big Daddy Google, then I don't know. You might have people to answer to. 2-0 lead for the Wyverns because I need to practice my British casting for later in the week.
Oh, nice. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of condescension in that cast, and I'm gonna tune in for it. I'm just saying. But yeah, you know. I thought the British pronunciation was like Wyvern or something like that. But I don't know.
Again, I'm just going with the Google. Probably, I clicked the speaker button, and that was the noise that was coming out.
I probably think that British people pronounce it Wyvern because they're weird people.
Yes, agreed.
It doesn't really work but my family's British, so I can make it anyway.
Oh. I also think it's an Australian
really
right to make fun of the British.
True, that's true.
Oh.
That does make some sense, actually.
Yeah. Especially during Ashes.
Oh, yes, no, absolutely. I don't think it is during the Ashes. I don't pay attention to cricket, but...
I don't know if it is or isn't either.
So.
I just assume it always is because cricket is an abomination of a game that lasts too long. Either way, we're 1 minute into this one. 2-0 lead, still in favor of Western Sydney. They're up 1-0 in the series right now, and I'm a little bit concerned for UON Blank because they, well, really haven't had much offensive pressure at all, and as the score continues to mount against them, they're really going to need to find a way to kind of break this blue side attack.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like they're able to hold the ball. It doesn't seem like they're able to have that consistency in defense. It doesn't seem like there's a few of those things missing. Maybe some passing plays, maybe something to build off it. And to be fair, you know, maybe if they do find one of those individual pieces, if they start coordinating a little bit better, if they stop panicking in defense, that is the start of a comeback. But again, it's only really a start, and there is quite a few things I think they have to change for them to be able to take this series. And right at the moment, you know, I do like the way Western Sydney is playing just a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll see what Carvey is going to try to be able to do through the corner. We'll be shut down by Inexplicable Mortal as De Niro Jones. Again, we'll try to play from that midfield line. Ball up for grabs. A couple swings, a couple misses. And then it will be Carvey instead who gets that touch. Inexplicable Mortal, again through that corner, is able to get underneath, trying to stay with it. Pinches it slightly forward. Descentral will try to fall back. Back and forth play right now. Very much ground game reliant right now, UON Blank. They are struggling with some of these more aerial shots, and that's something that I do feel like has been holding them back, again, in terms of getting some of those clearing plays right now. As soon as that ball gets airborne, all their touches are weaker or not necessarily where they need to be. It's more touching it for the sake of survival as opposed to proactive play.
Yeah, and that's not, you know, obviously that doesn't win you a game. You know, if you're just sort of playing to not lose, then you're not playing to win. Double commit on the attack.
Oh!
It doesn't even, it does have the speed. The defender just whiffs a little bit on that one. Colossal brain play right here from our orange team.
Phoenix just missed.
Nah, big brain.
Like,
absolutely huge brain.
All right, yeah, big brain right there.
See, if you watch more cricket, you'd understand the nuances of a good swing ball. Australians really get that, you know. There's sort of like equivalents in baseball, but it's just not quite the same.
Well,
oh, there's two on the bat as well. Two on the trot. Yeah, that's fine, whatever. Two on in a row there. This one from Distant Thrall just finding an awkward bounce off the corner. There's the spin. First the swing, second the spin. Really, this team can just do it all.
Phoenix just missed it again.
Big brain. Shush.
I mean, look, I'm just seeing what's on the screen in front of me. Phoenix having a bit of a roughie at the moment. We'll see if they're going to be able to turn it around. I still feel like the Wyverns can be in control of this one. This time, Phoenix does make contact with the ball. It actually puts it in a good spot for the team. Looking for the shot. It's going to be broken up by De Niro Jones.
Yeah, and you are, oh, pardon me, you are right. You know, it is still fundamentally Western Sydney who are controlling this game. It's just kind of a couple of plays which have gone fortunately for UON. The slight couple of mistakes from Phoenix in the defensive line. But, you know, maybe that's something which, you know, maybe a few defensive mistakes are things which UON can kind of look to more consistently punish and a way back into this game, which is fundamentally what they need to be looking for right now. The high shot was really, really good, but Carvey is just able to block it.
As we see more pressure being lined up at the moment, ball slowly rolling in that corner. Descentral, the only one around. Phoenix gets it up above them. Defense puts it in a real awkward spot. The shot, not accurate. The follow-up shot off the post. Scoring opportunity missed just like Phoenix misses the ball, but the follow-up shot is again going to be saved by Descentral, pelting the backboard, pelting that goal line. UON Blank continue to survive.
Yeah, but Phoenix might have an opportunity for this one. It does bounce a little bit further out of the way, but it is Fitzner who puts it in the right position. The fence just came out a little bit too aggressively here. Yeah, three people all tried to make the same clear. A little bit awkward, but hey, it means Fitz is able to put it straight in.
Triple commit, that's a paddling.
That was a reference I haven't heard in a while, actually.
I mean, it's the Steam profile pick. I had to go for it.
I never look at the Steam profile. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
That's it. I never pay attention to those because they're often just anime characters, and that's fine if that's what you're into. I mean, double good on the defense here, though. De Niro Jones might have an opportunity. The angle was good, but the speed wasn't quite there.
Simpsons' greatest anime.
It is. It's pretty good.
Actually, I think Futurama's better, but still, that's neither here nor there. Still 50 seconds to go right now as Inexplicable Mortal is going to take that shot from the corner, not find the mark. 40 seconds remaining, and it's looking like, once again, the Wyverns are going to hold on.
Yeah, it does. A couple of goals is still like, it's not an impossible deficit, but it kind of relies on a lot of things going right for UON. That sort of slow, bumbling attack isn't going to quite be the thing which gets them through. However, might be an opportunity here as this one kind of waterfalls down, but just no one willing to attack it for the side of UON. The Blanks just leaving it a little bit passively, and I think you're right. I think that might be our game 2.
Yeah, so game 2, 2-0 lead. Western City Wyverns looking to put themselves in position for the second sweep tonight. As soon as that ball does hit the ground when the clock hits 0, we will be moving towards game number 3. And, I mean, we saw signs of life, yes, coming from UON, but it came off of pretty gross, unforced errors, and that's not something that I expect to continue, at least not that dramatic out of Phoenix.
Yeah, and like, it's not even that Western Sydney aren't able to, that UON aren't able to put themselves in positions where they have the possibility for an attack. There was a defensive touch from Western Sydney, a really unfortunate one in the last sort of 20 seconds of that play, where it sort of just bounced down in front of the goal. And UON just didn't commit the attack. They sort of looked at it, realized it was in a good position, and then went for it. But they weren't ready to capitalize it in the case of a poor defensive touch. Something which Western Sydney have kind of done in this game. Maybe not as much as you might like to see from like a top team. I still think that's something they could tighten up a little bit. But it is something which UON aren't doing at all. And I think that is missing them goals. They just need to find a way to convert on the opportunities they're creating, because they are at least starting to create those opportunities. But, you know, it's not always that easy.
No, it's not. And, I mean, they definitely need more of those opportunities. It was 13 shots to 4 at the end of that second game in favor of the Wyverns. So a lot of work needs to be done by Blank. They were off to a good start after that kickoff right there. You saw De Niro Jones nearly able to get the ball near the goal, but unable to convert it in the end. And now here comes that shot. Ooh, Fitz was going for the opposite corner. Couldn't quite put it in.
Yeah, playing with that very, very kind of very hard to defend shot if it does go through, but they weren't quite able to make it. And actually, to go back to that stat line you were just talking about, a potential here. The goal is relatively open, but again, that third player isn't willing to push up and invest that pressure, and the two players who were there already kind of tied up in their own contest, and now it's going to be back to Western Sydney pushing the ball down the field.
They'll try to go for a pinch, couldn't quite connect on it. Phoenix staying back behind that midfield line, will press it forward right now. Ball actually makes its way all the way to the backboard. Pretty much a 4 right there, but let's see if they can turn it into the 6. Shot from Fitz off the post, not quite in the net.
Very close though, and again, I like the pressure being stepped up once again by Western Sydney. It needs to be an answer from UON. Found the defenders stepping forward a little bit too much more, and again, defensive misstep, perfectly punished by UON.
Every time there's a defensive misstep, yes, UON is there, and their shot accuracy has been the thing that's been keeping them most in this series as a result. The problem has been the lack of opportunity to take those shots, and I feel like as soon as the Wyverns kind of calm things down and just focus more on control of the ball and their positioning more so than trying to force every single play, they'll probably be able to retake the lead in this game.
They kind of almost, the teams need to average out their aggression, because a 60% shot accuracy sounds really good until you realize there have been so many shots which UON have just left on the table. And that's a great attempt, but it comes off the crossbar. It's still going to waterfall down. It
double
could be
commit.
Dangerous. Phoenix bounces it off. Yeah, you mentioned the double commit, but yeah, there wasn't any way of punishing that really.
A bit unfortunate. I mean, that shot almost went in. Oh, I like the pass in the box as well. Desenthral doesn't quite get there in time, but does enough to sort of bump off that counterattack. Phoenix now going to go ahead and play it off the wall, bouncing it towards the net. De Niro Jones kind of lost control, it looked like for a second there, was able to recover and make the save.
Yeah, and I slightly better pressure there from Desenthral, but it had to be the individual effort. No real passing play coming through for UON. Now it's Western Sydney. They do need to get a goal to kind of pull themselves back into this game at least. A decent bump, I think, coming through the fence. Didn't quite see how those cars connected, but Inexplicable Mortal is keeping the pressure on. I like the fact that UON a little bit further forward, trying to contest these attackers, but Western Sydney might have the space here if they can try and get a second touch on the ball. Looks like they might not be able to. That midfield pressure not being strong enough just a second.
Carvey almost got something put together there. De Niro Jones, though, actually might be able to. But no, they don't go for the 50. That could have been the opening. Instead, they play it safe, looking for control over shots. And that control is lost by the Inexplicable Mortal, who's going to turn this into a shot, I feel like, off the backboard. Fitz is there, but they overcommit for it. What a late redirect. Inexplicable Mortal ties the game up.
You almost looked a little bit awkward there, but they are able to get that extra little touch.
Wow.
Yeah. that ball, also, the angle that ball was traveling at, I don't know if it's going to go in.
I don't think
Like,
it was. But I also don't know if that was the shot that Inexplicable Mortal was looking for. Carvey, breakaway, save by Fitsino on the line. Go back to that last goal. Yeah, I don't think it was intentional. And uh-oh, this is a counterattack the other way. Phoenix all green in front of them, but they don't hit it straight.
Yeah, Danilo Jones, that was almost a very, very dangerous touch pushing that one towards goal. But I like the fact that you win. They went for an extra opportunity. They always get punished for it, admittedly, but they went for an extra attacking opportunity. If you don't at least go for those, you're still just going to get eventually you're going to lose. You can't turtle out in a game like Rocket League because eventually your opponent will score on you. You need attacking pressure as well as defensive pressure.
Now, well, let's see if they can get some attacking pressure here. Fitchino says, not today. We want to stay on the aggressive side. No one's actually able to make it back to their own corners for Boost, so everyone was quite low. Eventually, Boost is collected, as you can see. Carvey, though, was a bit slower to the Boost, and thus won't be able to stay with it in that midfield play. Swinging a miss from Inexplicable Mortal, though. Phoenix is staying back as that third member, but Fitzenho doesn't even let it get to that midfield line. Phoenix plays it forward. That net, it looks open, but the defense will rotate back in time. 1:09 remaining. Still a tie ball game, and Fitzenho stays with it through the corner to make it 2-1.
And this is why you can't stay back on defense, because eventually your opponent will score. Witzner really using the absolute most of that backboard, just playing it straight from the corner as well. So the other one bounced out of the corner when they first picked it up, and they were just able to keep it going in. 1 minute left, still plenty of opportunity for either Western Sydney to be able to stand their lead, and Phoenix does just that off the kickoff.
Oh, that is a disastrous kickoff. Both people in the back going for Boost means the middle of the pitch wide open, and Phoenix, who is already cheating, just gets the easiest goal of this series thus far. 3-1 lead, 2-goal differential. UON on the back foot. They need a goal. They need that answer, and they need it now.
Yeah, and you know, they're actually a big attempt in the flip reset for Inexplicable Mortal. They definitely are feeling pretty confident. Carvey might have a breakaway here. The net wasn't quite as open as I thought it might have been at first. They had good defensive rotations back from the side of Western Sydney. That one's a whiff.
Oh, no!
And can't capitalize on that one, though, and Carvey's going to be able to get the ball first, but it's so far back in the defensive half.
Oh, that was a little bit unfortunate. Descenthrall kind of made the own save from the team's shot, and that could have been their way to make it back within striking distance. Phoenix does double commit, so there was a small gap on that defensive side, but instead opting for the slow play. Danilo Jones trying to make defenders miss. Phoenix gets the read. 18 seconds, 2-point differential. It's looking better and better for Western Sydney.
It is 2 goals, 10 seconds to defend them. The ability to sort of control the ball and keep it in your attacking half feels pretty good. They're going to go for an extra little goal, and actually, yeah, okay, it's going to go in. I thought the goalpost might have been the final adversary there. But Fitz is able to put that one across, and 3 seconds to go. They're absolutely going to be able to hold on to this lead.
Yeah, that's going to do it for this series as well. The Western Sydney Wyverns are going to be happy with their victory today. Clean sweep, our second of the afternoon, in fact. Well done to the New South Wales side for UON. A little bit unfortunate, but I'm sure they'll be back at it. We've seen this team play a couple times now already, even though we're kind of early, I believe. Did we actually? No, I'm not sure we saw UON play last week. My apologies. But still, a disappointing loss for them nonetheless, but they will have more opportunities to crawl back in this league.
They will. Plenty of season left to go. We are only in week 2. And, you know, hopefully we see some good things from both these teams, especially because UON, a bit of practice, there's stuff they can work on there.
That there is. But for us, we still have one more series to come in our very near future. Of course, we're going to be staying in Group B. It's going to be RMIT White versus the Juicer Squad. Two teams, you know, kind of on a different trajectory at the moment. RMIT White, well, they're not really on any trajectory. I'm pretty sure it's going to be their first game being played. Ignore that one win. Taking on the Juicer Squad, who came up a little bit short back in week 1. So it's going to be a fun one. You're not going to want to miss it. More Rocket League when we return. And we are back, everybody. Welcome to our third and final game of the evening. A team that is playing their first and a team that is looking for their first win despite having arguably one of the stronger lineups of this event. I was shocked to see that the UTS Juicer squad did fall last week, but who knows, maybe it's a sign of technical difficulties, the team not gelling. I'm not really sure what. Either way, I imagine they're going to be looking to bounce back, and for a team that's coming in arguably quite gold, this could be a very interesting matchup.
I think interesting is a very good way of putting it. I wouldn't have thought it was interesting had the stuff not happened in the last game. I don't even know what that stuff is. Like, unfortunately, we don't have every single game streamed because, oh boy, would that be one to look back on. But it makes me interested to see what happens this game. I don't actually think this is the case, but I'm just putting it out there. There are some real drama queens in the Rocket League community. There are some real, like, if I'm not getting my way, no one is. I'm just putting it out there. I think it's the case with this team, but I'm not saying it's not.
No, I'll call him out.
Though, okay.
I'll call out names. Flicky, you're a drama queen. All right, Flicky, come on. GG's, get good now. Flicky, of course, the team captain of UTS. I asked what happened last game. Their response was, I wasn't there. So we'll see how this one is going to turn around as we get ready to go. Word is going to be given to the side. Hey, it's time to get in it. So we're going to be jumping to the pitch as well. Fetch. It's going to be a fun one. Players are loading in. So too are we. As we kick off this opening game on the side of RMIT, it is Nicey01, Dante 5, and AOE Emp for the side of UTS, Azza, as well as Flicky, as well as Knight. And I'm curious because Azza is the one that has my eyes the most. Is this the same Azza who has been in the RLCS bubble scene for the past season, or is this a different Azza? I think we're going to watch their play and find out.
You know the one with the RLCS 10 contender banner?
I think it's the RLCS Azza. I think
it might be.
Oh boy.
I think that makes this game very interesting, so to speak. I mean, just putting it out there, and again, like I always say, feel free to disagree with me. You might know a bit more about the scene and things like that. In this series, I do kind of favor UTS because of that. Oh, that was a nice little save actually from Nicey01. Went through to try and squishy out, didn't quite work out, and Azza flexing those skills.
So here's the thing about UTS. Yeah, Azza comes in with that banner, and that's always going to grab some eyes. Flicky is another one of those old school tournament grinders, kind of been on the quiet side over the past year or so, but has still been involved in the scene. And Knight, for a while, was considered one of the up-and-comers, hasn't really found a team that they've gelled on, but you could easily see a player of this skill, if they're to dedicate themselves that little bit more, starting to crack into that RLCS bubble scene as well. UTS, they're a tournament favorite, which is why when I look at this lineup and I go, how did they lose week one? I don't understand. Azza going to go for a ceiling shot reset. That's just going to set up Knight, who will put it in. This game, if UTS is playing their full strength, can get pretty ugly pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. The scoring hasn't been as fast as we sometimes see from these teams, but that's okay. Like, we don't need to, I don't think you need that kind of, I was going to flame some teams there, and we'll pull it back in a little bit. You don't need to necessarily be constantly scoring every 6 seconds to show how good you are as a team. Mm-hmm. I think the stylish goals show off more. I think the ability just to pull some impossible goal off, some impossible angle, some ridiculous outplay, I think that shows your skill as a player even more than just a big scoreline. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see who's going to go for those types of play. I mean, when I think of Azza as well, the team that in my mind was always like their most iconic was Hazard. And that's only because of the team, which was Azza, and Homie on Hazard. Like, it was a fun team. And they did crack, like, top 8, actually, I think, towards the end for one event. I might be wrong with that, but I know they had a very deep run late in that lineup's career. And since then, Azza has been kind of bouncing around, playing with different iterations, sometimes with, players like Siva. Hazza was there for a little bit, Homie, when they retired, and Azza kind of stuck together. So definitely has been around, has been playing, like, with the same consistent group for a little while. And this is the first time I've seen Azza realistically on a team built like this, because normally on the teams Azza is on,
they are more of that playmaker. They're the one who they try to set up to kind of go for that big solo play while the rest of the team plays support. But you can argue that Flicky in the past for UTS has run a similar role for this lineup, and I'm going to be curious to see how these two gel together. Right now, it seems to be gelling pretty well. 4-0 lead.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, because it's easy to talk about this team and say, hey, they're incredible, they're great, they're amazing, look at all the talent on them. But I actually really like how nice he is playing. And I know, I tend to highlight the teams who are falling behind a little bit more, but like, I think Nicey has had some really good shots. The attempt on the squishy save after getting a really, really good kind of almost last frame save earlier, the fact they managed to ping a shot from midfield, I think against 99% of the teams in this league, that would have gone in. Unfortunately, this is possible. This is probably one of the best teams in the. We are looking at the league, and as such, we him a save as it gets another one off his ridiculous play.
What was that? Actually, what was that? The pinch off the backboard into a double tap off the ground and in. Like, I'm sorry, but that's kind of the skills we were expecting to see. And even though hasn't really been that involved as of late, in the RLCS scene. Like, it really was RLCSX when we kind of last saw them really breaking through. I'm going to be honest, they're definitely putting on a little bit of a show. Also, it should be worth noting as well, way back when, like, even though they're in this university league and are a relatively young player, been playing competitively pretty much, if my math is correct, since they were like 14 years old.
Damn. That's like, I mean, that's for Rocket League. That's not as young as it is for other esports, but still, for Rocket League, even in spite of that, it's still ridiculously young, and that is how you develop talent. Just play the game. It's one of those games where you just got to grind it. You've got to spend so much time in the game. So there's players who have, and as Azza actually getting the goal as well. It shows, right? It really does show.
Yeah, it shows as they go ahead and put this next one through. 5-0 lead. Azza again able to find that goal right there, and it looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. So I hope everyone is kind of settled in. Nothing against this RMIT side. Do not get me wrong. I mean, I feel a little bit unfortunate for them. This is like going up against pretty much a grand finalist favorite in your first ever game of the season while on stream.
Yeah. And that makes that makes it really hard to come into the next week and really show your best. But if they do, I like them for being the other team out of this group. Because we've got so many more teams, I haven't actually read up, because it's also early in the season, on exactly how playoffs are going to work. But if we get 2 qualifiers, I mean, okay, actually the rest of the group is really, really good. But if these guys made it, I wouldn't feel super surprised. It's hard for them to really get a sense of how good they are. But again, Nicey in particular is someone I want to highlight for being in the play. And not just being in the play, but being in the play in really dynamic, intense ways. Being like, no, I'm going to check that. I'm going to, like, execution check you on this play. And actually won out once or twice. And even if they've gone for about 20, that's still massive. Really, really good attempt coming in from Emp as well. You see what I mean? Like, you can kind of see things there, and you're like, ooh, that could be something could build off this. Just this series, They're not playing this series, but like, ooh, against another team, they could be strong.
And that pass connected to Flicky, that would have been the goal of the night. It would have been. You can't deny that.
I agree. I mean, it's sort of weird saying, like, what ifs, but no, I agree.
Like, that was... Yeah, the classic double reset musty pass. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's good to see, though, that they're having fun out there. Well, at least, one side's having fun. Could be a bit of a struggle right now, unfortunately, for RMIT. But, at least you're getting the raid boss out of the way early.
Yeah. As I said off stream, I'm a Bombers fan. They faced 3 of the hardest teams in the league in the first 3 games, and I'm not copium. I'm not doing the copium just yet. I'm like, just gonna like get through it, But it is. You're right. That is a really, really hard ask to get to. It's a really hard ask. It's good to get them out of the way at the beginning of the season, but honestly, I'd kind of rather them be the final game where you've had like a week of I had a whole season of just cruising through teams and just absolutely demolishing them. Hopefully demolishing them. And then you get to a big boss at the end. It sort of is that confidence check before you come into potentially finals. I think that's ideal. Not saying that, the RMIT team are going to make finals, but, if they, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I think I'd be like, yeah, fair enough.
I haven't seen enough of them to make any sort of claims on this RMIT side going.
And that's why I'm
far.
not saying they will make it.
Yeah.
But I think that if they did make it, if we see them in, like, lower bracket seating for the finals, I'd be like, yeah, cool, that makes sense.
I feel like right now, though, I'm still so curious on the team that beat UTS. Because I see this lineup and
Yeah.
I'm just like stacked, stacked, stacked. Like
2v3 though, maybe? That's the thing. That's like the only factor.
maybe a 1v3.
Maybe.
Maybe it was because they were talking about, Knight was saying they had technical issues. Maybe it was just Knight on his own playing KBM when their controller made the power of Azza's touch out of nowhere from a standing still position.
Yeah.
It's always so amazing to see, when an RLCS caliber player kind of plays against people with less experience than them in these types of situations, because it really highlights how strong they actually are. Because sometimes in that equal environment, it's tough to showcase. It's what makes the special RLCS players that much special. But as again, like a fantastic player, don't get me wrong, it's never really been the top of RLCS. Again, top 8s were always like the crowning achievement for the teams that Azza has been on. And yet you can see the individual mechanics whenever they get that ball alone, how strong they are.
Yeah, it is incredible. And you're right. You're absolutely right about that point. Like getting a real sense of, okay, but this is actually how good they are. And again, we don't really know how good their opponents are in this game, but geez, they are doing some incredible things regardless of that fact. And I don't think you take much away from them. That said, 1 minute 30 seconds, we haven't seen a score just yet. It might change very soon, but
I mean,
it's not been the
if you've been watching the UTS side, they've definitely eased up on the gas a fair bit. They're constantly keeping one player really far back. They're trying to set up these long distance shots out in midfield and really trying to just sort of make these long, grandiose plays, which isn't quite working out. I feel like as soon as they want to score, they can increase the tempo and really put it to them. But they're trying to be a little bit flashy with it right now. And I've said this before, I don't always necessarily agree with getting flashy while the game is still within 0, 1, or 2 goals. I'd like to kind of get that lead first before you go for plays like that, because it takes one breakaway situation like this to have it all go a little bit pear-shaped.
On the flip side of that, and oh god, this is a devil's advocate statement, if ever there was one. In character-based games, you sometimes see the second game of the series, if you get the first one, to really be your limit test. Catches a triple commit, Dante out of midfield. That was a big mistake from UTS, but a massive punish from Dante.
So I think Flicky was going to be the one who was intended to make that save, but got bumped off of getting the full boost, and that's what opened the doorway for that goal. So really well done on the bump play. And you can play devil's advocate all you like. That's how come I say things like, hold on, make sure you get a goal or two first before you start messing about. And now they're struggling to put it in. 3 touches. They were all close, but not quite there. 2:15 remaining, and RMIT might be able to steal one back.
I still think if you're up in a series which you expect to win and you have a game in your pocket, I think you try and make the plays you're not as comfortable with in terms of seeing if you can manage that. There's still 2 minutes left to go. They still have, only 1 goal. They have to try and face down.
2 goals.
It's up trying a bit more nicey. There it is, fighting it from across the pitch, and maybe you're right, Formal.
It's awkward. It's looking a little awkward right now. UTS playing with their food. RMIT, 2 situations right there where they capitalize, and now we're looking at a very strong situations for what has to be the underdogs in this series.
Yeah, and still a game to play in, especially if they only win this. Azza should have probably put that one in. Knight did come to the clear up. At that point, the defenders had the ability to rotate back. Dante, this might be your play, but the defenders had enough time to get back themselves and to keep this attack going. And actually a really good shot by Nicey, but an equally good shot by Azza.
So something that has me a little bit worried, though, is how easy it looks for UTS to create shooting opportunities. I know they haven't really converted that many this game, but you can see how fast they are at sort of spotting the gaps in the defense and then attacking it. They've just been a couple awkward touches away from having this be an equal game, and now it is going to be that 1-goal game, as that was a perfect team play. You see the pass from Knight over to Flicky. You get the demo out of Azza right in that net. Kabam! And you've got yourself a 1-goal difference.
Yeah. And like you said, perfect team play. The 1, 2, 3. The 3 not being the pass. The 3 just being that demo sitting back. I think one of those players had respawned off a demo just before as well, but I didn't see it. It's sort of the position they were in. And there it is. Now it's back to a 1-goal deficit right now for the side of
Uh-oh.
UTS. They've got the ball as it's going up high, and you've got to think it's going to be something terrifying.
No one's going
reset,
at him.
didn't get the second.
Didn't get the second reset. Only 2 wheels touched. But now Flicky's going to have a go at it. Gets that ball into the corner. Under a minute to go. Here's where I expect to see a little bit of pressure be put on. Azza speed flips to the ball. And I don't know how Azza actually beats the defender to that play when they're from midfield and the defender was maybe 10 meters away.
It's that speed tech. Flicky might be able to put this one in. The defender just beats them as nice. He clears it out. I mean, Knight still has the attacking pressure going on here. 30 seconds left. This one should go in. Really weird touch. I don't actually know how that one even...
Well, did we have an own goal last Uni broadcast?
Yep.
Well, yeah. Can't reset the sign, just can keep adding days to it, I suppose. We almost got through our night with no own goals.
Yeah, I appreciate that neither of us talked about it. We just figured that if we ignored it, it would go away. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Not quite. Tie ball game right now. UTS knocking on the door, and there it is. You leave it open, and Azza will bang it through. 3-2 lead in favor of the team in orange.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we expected, even though they did get a little bit fancy with it in the early parts of the game. This is the ability for a team who's just this good to come back from most comfy deficits, you know? Nothing ridiculous. You don't want to put yourself too many goals behind, but at least a couple of goals they can easily find over the course of the game. And they get the third one in regulation even, which is nice, because you never really want to have to go to an overtime if you can avoid it.
No, you do not, and it does look like Flicky will be able to get a backboard pass over to anyone. Knight will be the one who grabs it. Trying to stay with that play. Dante breaks it up. Azza's going to keep it held in that midfield line. Actually got underneath it to keep it alive. A little bit of a turtle flick. Over to Flicky. Shot not quite in. Playing with their food right now. UTS, they might get another shot at this, even though they've already won the game. Azza puts one off the backboard. Flicky is there, puts it off again. They still keep the ball alive somehow. I don't know how this play hasn't ended yet, but now Azza with 0 boost still finds the pass underneath to Flicky, but again he posts it, and that's going to end the game 2-0.
So many post shots there. So many came off the bars, and they just keep it up for a while though, you know. But that's going to be the end of that game. And UTS go up 2-0 in this series, and it looks like if they keep up this same sort of pressure, they might take a 3-0 here.
They very well might. Look, I can't help but be a little bit biased. I do apologize for that. I just haven't had a chance to cast Azza in a good long while because they kind of haven't had the same successes in the current season of RLCS like they did in RLCS-X when I followed Hazard a little bit as well on like some of my personal streams. And it's been a good long while since I've been able to cast an Azza game. And it's good to see them back on the pitch and not really have lost a step right now. That said, we spent a lot of time talking about this UTS side, and for good reason. You've been bringing it back to the RMIT, though. What do you think RMIT could do to like get back in this one right now? Because, again, there seems like there's situations where UTS is just playing with their food.
All right. What you do, get the fourth player, get the sub. Be like, hey, buddy, here is the, here's the coordinates to the energy source, the main line for our opponents right here. You know what you have to do. Jokes aside, though, I don't think they're coming back into this one. I think that, like, I've liked what they're seeing, but again, against a pro team, it's not enough pro team, quote unquote, unquote, unquote. A team who can test some of those pro players in the past, yeah, you're going to struggle in that situation. There's one from as it just sort of floats in the middle of the field. Acts as almost more of like a pinball style bumper, really.
I mean, this is a very RLCS style passage shot, not gonna lie. You gotta see that all the time there. They are so trained at taking those meatballs and putting it exactly where they want with as much power as possible. You kind of need to once you get to that level, and Azza will make that shot 95% of the time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's sort of what we've been seeing, right? We've been seeing, we've not seen Azza whiff too many shots. There has been some hilarious crossbar gaming, but yeah, it's not likely they're going to drop those. Azza picks up a really good interception, guides it down, baits out one of the defenders, but about outside after the defender gets it anyway, which is a bit of a unique situation. I have not seen that a lot in Rocket League. Yeah,
no, we haven't seen that too much. Azza now trying to dribble it towards the goal line, won't quite put it in. I actually always thought Azza was from New Zealand. I don't know why. Flicky, though, we'll get that next goal in the box house. Oh, no, it was Hazza. Hazza was the Kiwi on the squad. That's right.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, how could I get Hazza and Azza confused on the Hazard team?
I was going to say, that names aren't very similar, so I can't really imagine how you get confused. confused, but yeah, I'm sure it's like a forgivable mistake, realistically.
Yeah. Absolutely. Kickoff. Just a little bit of distance. Won't go too far with it. Knight playing it through the corner as well. Asa will try to get underneath. I'll always have this entire team is just designed to be like, people who I respect. Flicky, one of, the first people who I spoke to in the Rocket League scene. Knight was one of my pickups in ODL, who definitely did not disappoint when playing for Team Esper. And Asa, again, back that RLCS player. Like, I have a connection to all the players on this UTS side. The only problem is they're from New South Wales.
You sure you want to keep... Oh, Dante! That was actually a good pass. Okay, here we go. Let's break down this one a little bit. Ant managed to put the ball up high, beats out the defender. Flicky isn't able to get the ball quite right, and Dante just slides it in. Boom, perfect. This is classic Rocket League.
Yeah, good play, good shot, good goal. There we go, back within one. RMIT, they can take advantage of those types of plays again. I mean, look, RMIT has been doing a good job staying goal hungry and looking for the mistakes, as few as they are, and trying to capitalize on them. It's not as if they've been backing down or playing like a passive defensive game. They've been going for it. And to that, you've got to give them credit. They've played fearless, unfortunately. Just haven't had enough in it within them to sort of break this differential. Knight, good late touch, but here comes Dante, shot on target. Flicky is there.
Yeah, and they're able to clear that one out. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the fact that they're not playing like they're playing against a team who is as good as they are. Mm-hmm. They're playing like they're playing against any old team, and it's what's finding them these openings. Like, we've kind of criticized some of the teams so far earlier in this stream of sort of being like, the opponents are beating us, let's just get back. Let's keep stepping our offensive play up a little bit more at the cost of the rest of the gameplay until eventually we find, until eventually they make a mistake. Whereas at the moment, the RMIT team is just like, oh, you guys made a mistake, we're there, we are jumping on it. And I like that a lot more. It speaks a lot about the sort of resiliency, but also the determination of this team. And I think that's a really good sign. Oh,
that's going to be a lob clear, and perhaps a chance for AOE Amp, who doesn't quite get there in time. Ball now going back towards that opposite net. Knight versus Nicey, and neither of them come down with the ball. That will leave it to her a good passing situation. Asa actually stays with it, pre-flips to get that second touch off the defender, and now is in the opposite corner challenging as well. Eventually Knight does get there to pinch it back to the other side. Flicky a bit too far back. AOE Imp going to slow it down, flicks it past that first defender, gets it past the second, but can't get it past the third.
Yeah, not quite able to find it.
Uh-oh.
But, it's fine. Amp's got there. Where's the second attack coming from, though? And that's the thing, when a team is this good, they're going to not just hit you with one shot, it's going to be 2, 3, 4, or 5, and it could come from just about any angle. But, nothing. That attack can get followed up too much more. It's going to be Asa playing aerial games, getting a touch onto the crossbar, but just not quite enough.
Going for the reset right there. Can't pull it off, and now Nicey with the breakaway. One defender there, gets it over the top of Asa, and that's how you tie the game up 2-2 with 43 seconds to go.
Yeah, there it is. Still 43 seconds. It's a pretty big window, but, I like it. RMIT kicking back, trying to hit back, trying not to just let the game go themselves. It's kind of what we were saying about them. That's a really good sign, and I like it a lot.
All right, well, let's see if they're going to be able to get that third and possible final goal of game number 3. Kickoff not really going their way as it almost gets that touch into the top left corner. Now Flicky's going to have a crack at it. Nicey runs disruption and doesn't quite come down with it. Knight now going to try to play off that backboard. Asa with the shot forward. Knight spikes it down, but not quite in. Still attacking off that backboard pass back. Flicky's going to be the first one there, or are they? Defenders get in the way. They can't quite stop it. Flicky going for the waterfall, but touches it a second time, and that puts it in the corner right into AOE Imp. 15 seconds left. One last chance to end this in regulation. Asa through the corner has it taken away.
Yeah, and still more play. We know how quickly this side can come up with the attack. Comes to the crossbar a little bit. No third player there to kind of punish it. And AOE Amp actually wants to see if they can possibly just ground it and take it to overtime. I thought they might have carried that across the field, but no, it's just going to go into this overtime. And of course, you still favor UTS. As much as I've been loving watching RMIT, it is this team who's able to keep consecutive attacks going, right? Any corner. Would you have the favor? Almost something found there, but it was a little chaotic.
That was very awkward from the UTS defense. 3 misses. They should have been punished with that goal, but now on the attacking side, Asa Gonna look to make a play off that wall. Tried to get the pinch. Doesn't quite get it. AOE Imp actually is able to center it. Dante was there, but his Flicky from behind. That breaks it up. Big demo. Should create space for Azza to throw it forward. Watch for Flicky. He will be the next attacker. Not quite. Actually, going to leave it for Knight instead to press it forward. Gets the pinch up off of that back wall. Pass back down. Azza's there. Shot broken up by Nice. Flicky versus AOE Imp. Imp does enough to get it towards that side wall. And this is a very dangerous RMIT defense. Knight going for the double, and that ends the game.
It ends the game in very, very stylish fashion as well. Knight goes over the top, keeps that. So it has that defender. Two defenders actually contesting the crossbar as well. That's about as low as you can get that double touch, and is able just to put it away. UTS take the series 3-0, as we kind of expected, but it was a lot more of a show than I think a lot of people might have thought.
Yeah, it was a fun one. I enjoyed that series a lot, and it's a good way to kind of cap off that night. Kind of strange that that was a 3-0, and like you would look at it and be like, yeah, 3-0 makes sense, but it also felt like probably the most exciting series of the 3 that we had.
Yeah, I completely agree. It definitely was, and again, it was because the team who was losing didn't sort of just give up, or maybe giving up is a rough word to put it, but weren't sort of just conceding pressure anywhere. They were still hungry. They were still in it. They were still going to make whatever mark they could on their opponents. And I think it really does make me, at least, want to keep following them and see where the rest of their games go.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be interested in pretty much all of this group right now. Group E seems like a really fun one. But for us, unfortunately, our fun night, it is coming to an end. One last time, I would like to thank our sponsors for helping put this together: Predator, AOC, and RIG. Thank you all so much, without which we can't hold awesome events such as this one.
Yeah, exactly. All fantastic sponsors, of course, And follow us, I should say, on social media, of course, AOE Sports League, as well as our social medias, which I believe are on screen, but I don't have it right. They're not. Well, they were on screen. Sorry, you guys should have been here earlier. I don't know why you're so late. You should have been here to witness our social medias. I believe it's at @formalcast and at @the_fetched. If you want to follow us, and of course, like I said, AOE Sports League. If you want to follow all of the awesome university, high school, and just general like corporate and regional challenges as well going on.
Yeah, there's been a lot of action. I mean, even just recently, AEL was up in Brisbane at Supernova, and it was pretty cool to see some of their posts that were happening up here. I mean, I live in Brisbane, but unfortunately I couldn't attend. That's neither here nor there, though I would have loved to go. I really would have. Unfortunately, had spicy cough, so... Either way, though, we will be saying good night for now. Do be sure to tune in tomorrow for more action in AEL esports. Every Wednesday, the Rocket League should be going on. There's going to be World of Tanks in the future. You have your CS Goats, your Dotas. So much action here at AEL. Do stay with us and have a great night, everybody.
Actually, before we pass, do we have a secondary stream
to pass yeah, actually, we do have a secondary stream to pass it on to. You are right.
Okay.
You are absolutely correct. We're going to be going to AEL Uni 2. Yeah, so go there. Go to AEL Uni 2 right now. Not sure what they're playing. They're playing something fun. So go over there. Check it out.
It's our friends Gex and Maddie.
Oh, Gex and Matsy. Yeah, so go over there. Watch some more Rocket League. Zoom Rocket Cars. Go away. We're going to. Bye.